Welcome to the JoomlaXTC Template Framework tutorial, Part 3. Part 3, we're going to be talking about the grid options here. So our grid is default, and it's based on Bootstrap 2 because that's what it comes with. So the first thing we're going to see here is your responsive design features. And all this is doing here is saying yes, it's going to be calling the Bootstrap responsive CSS. If you say no, it won't call the responsive CSS. Your site will not be responsive, and it will not collapse and look great on mobile. And if your client just wants to have the site look exactly the same on desktop and on mobile, then you would set this to no. But you will need to inform your client that Google is now punishing people that don't have responsive websites. So this should always be left on. So next is your body width. This is the width of the body. So we have multiple options in here for some common sizes, but you can also click right in here and change the size. And this would be in pixels. So right now we have 1280, and that's the body width. This is the body padding. Next is your header. Your header option, you can have a sticky header that will remain at the top while you scroll, or no sticky header. Next you have a fixed width or a fluid width. Now this is where the body width comes in. So the width of the website is 1280. So do we want to adhere the header to that 1280, or would we like the header to go full width and not adhere to the body? So here we have it a fixed width, so that means it's going to attach itself to the body width. Fluid means it would go all the way out. Your header height, and this is set at 80 pixels. The reason there's a header height there is this is part of the margin top that's going to be needed to add to it when you have a sticky header. This is the header padding. This is what pads the header. Header device view padding. This is the padding for device view. Device view will be based on Bootstrap in this scenario, so it'll be 786. So if you're looking at it on a mobile device and you need to change the padding, maybe the padding's too big when you're on the desktop, you can change the mobile padding right there. Next we have our menu styles. The menu can do a 1-column, a 2-column, a 3-column, or a 4-column menu style. The menu can be positioned to the right, to the left, or the center. Next is the menu animation. We've packaged the template with a pure CSS3 Bootstrap menu that has animations for the drop downs. So you can have fade in down, slide in left, right, many options here. And this is the menu padding. Next is the modules. This is a separator between modules vertically. So if you have more than one module in a module position, you can select in the pixel size of what the space that you want in between the modules vertically. Next is a region configuration. Our templates are based on regions. When we look at the layout, you can see that we have regions. So let's go back over here and go to the layout, and let's view the layout. So I click View Layout. Now this window comes up, and we can zoom in. So Region 1 has the inset, the top 1 through 6, and style 1 through 6. Region 2 has left 2, right 2, user 1 through 6. Then here in Region 3 is where the component is, Region 4, and so on. So each one of these regions can have a background style and many different options. And that's why we did it based on regions. As well, you can change the order of the regions simply in the template administrator, or let's say you're only using Region 1 and 3, or maybe 1, 2, and 3, you can turn off all the other regions so the template doesn't load all of these extra module positions. So let's go back to that setting. And here's where the region order is. There's 12 regions, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 spaced with commas. So if you just rearrange this order, the template will be laid out in a different order. And this is really good for prototyping a site. If you go ahead and you build your whole site, and then you're looking at your site and you say, well, what would happen if everything that's down there in Region 4 came up to right underneath the hero area? You can do that simply by taking that 4 and moving it underneath the 1. So this comes in handy when you're building a site, as well as showing your clients some different variations. Separator between regions. This again is the space between regions vertically. Region 1. So we have a region 1 width here, and it can be fixed or fluid. Remember, fluid is going to go full width. Fixed will adhere to the body size. Collapse of Bootstrap gutters. Bootstrap automatically adds a margin in between your modules positions that go horizontally. So there'll be a gap in between them. It spaces them out nice. But in some scenarios, you might want to have all of your modules pushed together, so you'll need to collapse the Bootstrap gutters. This does the CSS here when you select yes to collapse the Bootstrap gutters. Next, we have the region padding. So this is the full padding for the region. Here we have 220 pixels for the top, 0 on the left, 160 on the bottom, and 0 on the right. Next, we have device view. So we have the device region hide width. Again, this is the device view is set at the Bootstrap one column that goes to 768 or 767. So you can hide a region when it gets to device view. So if you have something in a region, say maybe you're using something that's Flash, and you have to have Flash, even though Flash is pretty much so dead on the internet at this time, but Flash doesn't work for mobiles. So you just want to go ahead and hide that region because they don't need to see it. You can set it here to go for phones. You can phones to tablets or portrait tablets. So portrait tablets is going to be the largest, middle, and smallest versions. Again, we have the device padding here because when you come down to device view, the screen is going to come in, everything is going to be one column, and the height needs to be a little bit different. So when you go down to your device level, you can switch the padding here. So going into region 2, it's the same scenario here, except in the region 2, we have the left 2 width and the right 2 width. We have some nice little slider bars here. So what this is based on is the Bootstrap Grid. So if you have a left 2 on and you have a span of 4 and you have a right 2 with a span of 6, that means your inner column is only going to be a span of 2. So think about the Bootstrap Grid as being a 12-column grid, and generally if you want to have sidebars, you probably set this for 3 and 3, and you can play around with this. And this gives, different span classes to the left 2 and right 2 width. For more information, go to the Bootstrap site. It's not the Bootstrap 3 or 4, it would be Bootstrap 232. And again, we have the device view and everything here. Region 3 is just a little bit different because we have the component in region 3. So we have a component padding. If you want to pad the component, you can pad it there. But the same type of stuff going on here with the left and the right. And again, in region 3, since it is a component, this is where left and right are. Then in region 4, you've got your left 4 and your right 4, and the same thing. So this basically copies itself down for the layout all the way down to the bottom, where we have our footer. We have our footer width, our padding, and our device view.